Hi, I'm Zai-Zai. And I'll give you my Aro, Ace Spec headcanons for BSD characters. Because we need representation for real. First, Zai-Zai. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, he's the horniest guy on earth. And you're right. He is. So he isn't asexual, there's literally no chance. He's in the Aro spectrum. I feel that he doesn't know or understands how romantic attraction feels like, and maybe he felt it before but it was so weak and short that he didn't identify it as romantic attraction. This may fall in the category for gray romantic, whose definition is, someone who sometimes, occasionally, or rarely experiences romantic attraction. The attraction they experience may be weak, or it might be infrequent. Also used as an umbrella term for all romantic orientations that fall between a low romantic and a romantic. I think he doesn't care about a romantic partner at all, and romance isn't his priority. And you can see how every time he tries to flirt with a woman is never in a romantic way. Sometimes it's sexual and other times it's just for a double suicide. Also, if you ship Sukoku, you can identify that most of his interactions have sexual tension, not romantic. For example, in this scenes in Dead Apple. He's waiting for a kiss, sexual, or putting him there, sexual. Or in the official arts that they have together, Zai's only interested in the sexual part while Chiyu looks more interested in the romantic part. With details and all of that. So, yeah. Aro spectrum Zai real. Second, Atsushi. First of all, he's pan. Is canon in my head. He doesn't give a fuck about gender. But I also feel he's ace flux. Its definition is, someone whose experiences of sexual attraction fluctuate. They may go through periods of asexuality and periods of experiencing sexual attraction. The strength of their attraction could also fluctuate, going through phases of weakness and intensity. Honestly, I don't have evidence over this one because we never saw anything sexual with Atsushi, but I just feel it fits for him. Also, the only romantic thing we saw with him was Lucy. And he seems to not understand the obvious crush that she has in him. This may let him in a narrow spec identity, like koi romantic, someone who finds romantic attraction confusing, or cannot differentiate between platonic and romantic attraction, or is unsure of whether they experience romantic attraction. But honestly, Atsushi just came out of his orphanage, so he probably hasn't had enough time to discover himself. Because his priority in the orphanage was staying alive. But Lucy also was in a terrible orphanage, so I don't know how much time did she had to discover herself. I don't know at what age did she go out either. But I'm pretty sure she already did, and Atsushi is in that way. I don't know, it feels right to say that Atsushi doesn't understand romantic attraction. I think that when he first feels it he may think that it is platonic attraction and don't even think of the possibility of romantic attraction for him, which leads me to the next character, Sigma. He's an Eros icon for real. And he's romantic. He is 3 years old and most of his short life was trauma, so a romantic or sexual life wasn't his priority. Also, he was created by the book, and whoever created him, I don't remember if it was Fyodor or who it was, can create him any way they want. It will be inconvenient to make him feel sexual or romantic attraction, don't you think? Because he may fall in love and maybe betray them. And I think he's or romantic because he knows that he can't feel that, and he's watched movies, series, or just people through all his life falling in love, and knowing that he can't have that makes him feel less human than he already feels. So he craves for a relationship, to feel more like a person. He also often confuses platonic and romantic attraction, so when he feels platonic attraction towards someone he wishes that what he's feeling is romantic attraction, but it destroys him when he discovers that it isn't. Fourth, Kunikita. He's also Eros, but an Eros in denial. He tries so hard to believe that he likes women that it's insane. You all know his list of the perfect girlfriend, right? That's the proof. He's taking having a partner an obligatory thing to do and not a feeling that comes even if you don't want it. And this is a common experience for our romantic people, not identifying that love is a feeling and not just something that you do with a very close friend once you've been friends enough time. He's taking his love life in a very literal way and making all this list of what a perfect woman should be, not what a perfect woman is for him. You can see a better explanation in Jaden's coming out as Aro's video. In this part when she says that she thought that having a partner was like an exchange instead of actual feelings, and that she was thinking about the pros and the cons of being with that person instead of what she was feeling. That sounds a lot like what Kunikita is doing there. He just doesn't know and no one ever explains it to him, so he's just doing what he's supposed to do according to society. I think that he made his investigation of what a perfect life is and found that he's a man, so he needs a girlfriend. And he is to get it at X age, and with X years of relationship he needs to get married. Like, that's literally what he's doing there. And for the sexual part he just seems ashamed every time the topic comes out, and I really can't imagine him doing or liking sex at all. So yeah, Kunikita Osaikon 2, 5th, Fukuzawa. We're going through the whole agency for real. He's just Eros too. Like, please, he's 45 and never had a relationship? Like, never? And, you can ship him with whoever you want, but canonically we've never seen him in a relationship. And he doesn't seem to care either. He just wants to live his life with his cat and his adoptive gay children. He really has an I don't give a fuck Eros energy. And for God's sake, he wanted to be alone all his life when he met Rampo. It just screams Eros everywhere you see it. 6th, Kenji. I know, he's a child, he's 14, and he's also asexual. No, he isn't too young to know that. I knew I was ace at 13. He just gives that vivus. Also, I'm pretty sure he loves the cycle of life and loves this kind of things in animals. I feel like he saw these things in nature at a very young age and never thought that humans could do it too, and was very surprised when he discovered that. He immediately said that he didn't want to do that ever and that it looked pretty in animals but could never imagine it with humans. He's just a really cute child, and I think that when he falls in love he'll be super cute with his crush. And with that we end with the agency. I don't know about Gyoka though, she just never had time to discover herself with all the trauma she's gone through. I will put her as unlabeled for now, I can't think of anything for her. 7th, Akutawaga. He's definitely ace. No one can convince me otherwise. He's totally repulsed by just the idea of sex and hates everything about it. He's also dim romantic because I can't imagine him falling in love just by seeing someone. That's not Akutawaga. And if you ship Shinsukoku you can totally say that he falls in love with Atsushi after knowing him better. At first he just wants to kill him. Honestly, I don't have enough evidence for the ace dim romantic Akutawaga headcanon, but I think we all can agree in it. He also never showed any interest in sex or romance. He's definitely repulsed by it. 8th, Jin. She's gray romantic and also asexual. She isn't repulsed by sex, she just doesn't care. I feel like she's been all her life without thinking about it at all, and when people keep asking her she always said that it wasn't that important for her. Once Hiratsu told her that she may be ace and she just took it and now uses it as an explanation every time someone asks. Akutawaga ace siblings for real. And for the gray romantic one I just think she also doesn't care. She's in the mafia, she does her job and she loves her brother. And the few times she fell in love she tried to not give that feeling that much attention and ended up forgetting about it and the feeling will just went away. I still have no evidence for this one more than her personality, that has nothing to do with her sexuality, so I'll just say I like this. 9th, Hiratsu. Same as Fukuzawa. He's just a 50-year-old man who's never shown any interest in sex or relationship and adopts gay children. Aroas, definitely. He just doesn't find any interest in any of that, it doesn't matter to him at all. 10th, Elise. Aroas. She's 11 and she's an ability. Definitely not sex and she seemed to not give a fuck about romance either. 11th, Keiji. Aroas. He just loves lemons. Not the representation we want but the representation we need. 12th, Gatai. Gubio Oroas. Have you all seen that episode where he's following Jin because she's pretty and then completely forgets about her at all? He's trying so hard. It feels like that Haro experience where you choose someone random to be your crush because you feel that you have to, Or to say someone when people ask you about who your crush is, but you don't give a fuck about that person at all. But in this case, he's just trying to convince himself and not other people. He wants a relationship so bad, oh my god. 13th, Louisa. Demiroas. Again, I have no evidence of this one, but it feels right. She's sweet. I imagine her being the eternal friends to lovers. 14th, Fyodor. He's definitely a romantic. I don't know what proof I can show you. Just. All of him screams a romantic. Just look at him, really. His personality, how he doesn't give a fuck about anyone, knowing that he will probably manipulate his partner if he had one act. You just cannot look at him and tell me that he could have genuine feelings towards anybody. You can't. 15th, Rando. He just gives vibes of Ace. And he also doesn't give a fuck. 16th, Ace. I had to put him. Come on, his name is literally Ace. He's in the Ace spectrum, most specifically he's sexual, which definition is, someone who experiences sexual attraction to people but has no desire to have those feelings reciprocated. For some, if the attraction is reciprocated, their feelings may fade and they will no longer be attracted to that person. Lithsexual is also sometimes used to describe someone who does not like to receive sexual contact but may be happy to give it. Still not proof for this one because we saw him in one episode and then he died, but his name was Ace. That's all the proof you need. 7th, Kutharoas. You don't need proof. Believe me. Anyways, they're 13 and honestly, do you think they care at all about romance and sex? They probably don't even know that it exists or that it's a possibility. 18th, Ango. Ace and dim romantic. I can accept him as a romantic too. He's just like Kunikida but without the denial part. He knows it, he accepts it, let's continue with his life. His true love is work and betrayal for real for real. 19th, Lovecraft. Aroas. I can't accept any other possibility. Let's move on. 20, Bram. He's Ace. He literally can't. Just look at him. And also just doesn't give a fuck. He's not sad that he can't, even better. 21, Tachu. He's just romantic. I know he is. 22, Taguchi. This guy is just in the Aro spectrum, but he doesn't know where yet. And for an extra, Yokamizo. He isn't in the spectrum but I think he just doesn't care at all. He may get a partner if he falls in love but he isn't thinking of it all the time. And after 22 characters that I had canon to be in the Aro, Ace spectrum we can end here. Half of the cast I swear.